Pretty normal. Card games, lost a little bit of money. But I think just kind of talking about, tomorrow night's game and what we got ahead of us. But it was, a long flight, but pretty normal. Guys are resilient. They move on to the next thing. I say it all the time.
Let's go to Ben in the row in front.
Hey, John. Obviously not. You don't have to set the lineup for a little while yet. But how's Bo doing? What's his availability? Do you expect for Game 3?
Doing well. Expect him to be in there. He's out here working out today and felt good coming out of yesterday. So I think with each day that goes on, he'll probably get as close to normal as he can this stage of the year. But the fact that he's out here working out today is a good sign, and expect him to be in there tomorrow.
And then bigger picture with your offense, you guys have been the best team in baseball in the postseason by a pretty big margin. Then Game 2, Yamamoto was so good. How do you view that? How do you view those two elements in relation to each other?
I think it's a really good game by a really good pitcher, and it's up to that point. I think we've been pretty consistent. I mean, these things are going to happen. It's two best teams left. You know what I mean? And he was on his game yesterday. So as a whole, I love what we've been doing throughout the course of the postseason. Expect us to keep doing it. But again, man, it's a tough task every night against these starters. And you move on to another one tomorrow.
Let's come to Ron here in the front on the left side.
With 3 games in 3 days, how significant will it be for you getting to their bullpen early and trying to avoid them getting to your bullpen early? Yeah,
that's kind of what you want to do every series, right? And again, we're trying to approach this as, 7, if it gets to that point, 7 one-game series. So at this point, it's going to be all hands on deck. These guys are going to, I think everyone will be able to throw 3 days in a row. But you want to try to, see those bullpen arms. You want to try to get a little bit familiar with them and hopefully have a little bit of fatigue set in. That's both sides going. So starting pitching is going to be important for both sides for sure. And guys that can throw multiple innings are going to be important in these next 3 days. But I think especially against this team, you want to try to wear down their starters and get into their pen.
And do you, in your mind, wonder what Max's reaction will be if and when you show up at the mound?
No. We were just talking earlier today. He's got a really good idea of kind of how he's feeling and what the game state may be and how to react, and how to adjust. So I'm going to try to avoid any mound visits with Max tomorrow.
Let's stay in the front on the right side.
John, good to see you again.
Likewise.
Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show. 2 quick questions for you. First off, it's so incredible, Blue Jays fans, like 11:45 at night. I'm out there with all of them, outside Rogers Center, freezing, but we want to wave to the buses as they go by. It's incredible. And the connection that all of the Blue Jays have to it's a family, Glue Jays, as you guys say. Do you ever just step back and realize how incredibly special it is, the connection the players have with the fans? Like, it's really magical.
Yeah, I mean, we felt it all, we feel it all the time. You know what I mean? I think just being, a team that represents a country, but, throughout the postseason, I enjoy seeing those fans as we're pulling out, you know what I mean? It doesn't happen very often in any scenario, any sport, so we feel it, we love it, and it's awesome to see some of the videos of the fans outside of the Rogers Center cheering, and I think it kind of shows what kind of fan base and support that we have, but definitely don't take it for granted.
My dog was out there with his Blue Jays jersey. Second question, speaking of that, you just left Toronto, we're here in LA. Who has the worst traffic, Toronto or LA?
LA.
Really?
Yeah. Hands down.
Wow, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go to Gabe, 3rd row on the left.
Is Jersey going to get honorable mention in that or no?
Oh man, I haven't been in there a while, but yeah, I think anything is sometimes a close second to LA.
Going back to the 3 games in 3 days thing, what did you kind of learn from that process in the ALCS, and what's the challenge like, I guess, mentally of when you're determining whether or not to expand or contract your what we might call circle of trust?
Yeah, we were fortunate in the ALCS with starters, getting to where they did in those games. So you want that to happen again, to try to save some arms. And I think in terms of circle of trust, again, I've said it all along. I trust everyone that's on the roster, and we're probably going to need everyone when you're playing 3 games in a row. So we tried to build it to where there's multiple guys that can give you multiple innings. But I think that it starts on the mound with the starter. If you can churn through some innings, and even if it's just saving 1 inning here or there for one of your bullpen guys, that's huge. So hopefully we can be as fortunate as we were in the CS.
And when you talk about guys getting multiple looks, either multiple looks at starters, multiple looks at relievers, just the elite level of both lineups, I mean, is that going to be a pretty significant boon for the hitters on both sides just because they're really good and they're really smart?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's well documented in the game with being familiar with the starter, right? And I think it holds true when you're playing a long series. The same team, 7. We saw it with Seattle. You know what I mean, and how certain at bats can be affected. I know a lot of people were talking about George's at bat, seeing same reliever for I think the 3rd or 4th time, whatever it was. So that's where the adjustments come in. That's where the gamesmanship comes in. You have to kind of be able to adapt and show a guy a different look, a different pitch, a different location. So it's a battle. You know what I mean? It's these guys have really good stuff. Our guys have really good stuff. We have really good hitters. They have really good hitters. So it comes down to really making one pitch at a time, not being predictable.
Let's go to the far right.
John, I'm just wondering, the role you guys have used Louis in throughout these playoffs, kind of like the first man out of the pen, the early leverage situations, is that what you envisioned for him when you guys acquired him? Or if not, how has he kind of grown into that role? Yeah,
I mean, based on how he was used in Minnesota with who else was in that bullpen, that's kind of what we liked about him. A guy that can go up and down, finish an inning, go back out, maintain his stuff. I think it's kind of happened with where we have been in certain lineups too. It's not going to be him every single night as the first guy in, but he's got a real good way about him to be ready to come in and squash an inning and then go back out and stay focused. So we view him as that. I have no problem with him closing a game. I have no problem with him starting a game. You know what I mean? So valuable is an understatement to say about him in a bullpen.
And then who won the money off you in those playing card games?
I'll keep that on the plane. Someone who makes more money than me.
Let's go to the back left corner.
John, given that you were only 8 years of age at the time, would a kid from New Jersey have a visual memory of the home run that Kirk Gibson hit here in 1988? Yeah,
I do. It was pretty cool. I think watching that in real time, and then that whole sequence of events. I was lucky enough to get to know Mel Didier, longtime scout, when he was working with us, and to hear him tell the story of the 3-2 backdoor slider from Eckersley, sit on it, and to kind of look at Gibson step out and say he was thinking about that. Didn't know it at the time, but you look at that, and I remember Lasorda running out of the dugout, and obviously the fist pumps and him limping around and stuff. That was like ingrained in my memory. But then to hear that kind of add-on part of the story was pretty cool.
Let's go to the far right, third row.
Hey, John, I know a lot's been made about the Dodgers' experience in this kind of level, but to have a guy who's made 26 postseason starts, who has experience playing on this stage, what kind of added sense of comfort does that give you that maybe just this moment obviously wouldn't be too big or anything like that?
For Max?
For Max.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of why we lined him up for tomorrow, and without having too much of a layoff from a rest standpoint. It's you look at some of these guys, they got, almost a regular season full of stuff in the postseason. When you look at him or George, a lot of guys on their roster, obviously, too. So you feel good. You feel good about that. You feel good that he's going to be able to absorb the situation, the atmosphere, what comes with it, and then kind of get to competing and locating. So we're fortunate to have those guys, and you throw Trey in there, who we asked to do game one, right? I think that having the other guys around him helps him with that too. But I'm looking forward to seeing Max go out there on a field he's familiar with and a stage that he's familiar with.
You go straight up the middle on the aisle.
Hi, John. The Dodgers manager Dave Roberts talked about the Dodger baseball. What's the definition for you of the Blue Jays baseball?
I think watch game one. That's kind of us. Definition of us is everyone doing their job, guys playing the game the right way and understanding situations that that happen throughout the game and responding accordingly. Everyone pulling for one another and everyone ready to contribute in some way, shape, or form. I think that kind of sums it up. And I also think that we really lean into the way that we can score in different ways. It's not a one-sided attack. It's a pretty creative, balanced, and unique offensive approach.
Let's go to Shai on the right side.
Hey, John. The other day, Andrew Friedman was talking about how one of his goals when he came here was to turn LA into a destination. He sees you guys behaving in similar fashion. What would you like players around the league to have noticed about the Toronto experience, Blue Jays baseball, the way you guys play, what you've built over the course of the offseason? What are the takeaways you hope they take?
Man, I hope, and I know people recognize how we play the game and how we use everyone on our roster and how we try to keep people involved. And I think that can lead to some sustainability, in terms of winning. So facilities are second to none. Fan base, obviously, in my mind, second to none when you have a whole country behind you. But I think more than anything, I'm proud of the fact that it's pretty clear, what we stand for and what we think is important on the field. I think we really showed that this entire season and this postseason. And everything that comes with it, from whatever you need to get better, we have. But I just like the fact that I think 29 other teams around the league can kind of pinpoint what we do well and how we do it and kind of what we value.
Let's go Clinton right in the middle of the left side.
Skip, speaking of your opponent, a lot is made of what Shohei has done both on the mound and otherwise, but also on this team is Mookie Betts, who switched positions. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on him as a baseball guy, looking at him playing on that infield and how well he's done so far in the series against you.
Yeah, I've always respected him, the way he plays the game, right? Going back to when he was with the Red Sox. Makes playing shortstop look easy for a guy that's a Gold Glover in right field. He's just consistent. I think understands the speed of the game, understands big stages of the game. I think any manager feels comfortable and confident, right in the lineup when you got a guy like that, in there every day. So a couple plays that he's made, man, just going to his right against us in the first couple games, pretty impressive what he does, and the fact that he's sitting at the top of the order. I think Mookie's a hell of a player.
Do two more, Ben, and then we'll finish up with Ron.
Hey, John, just back to Bo for a second back here. So you had mentioned going into the series, shortstop could be a possibility. Just for Game 3, are the options second base, DH, or is there anything else on the table?
He's going to play second base tomorrow.
Ron? Yep. Right in front.
When you're at home or in the clubhouse and a Dodger game's on TV, do you kind of look up and take notice when Ohtani's at the plate or on the mound?
If I'm awake, they're 3 hours behind us. I'm always watching baseball. But if I'm tired and it's time to hit the rack and he's coming up to lead off the next inning, I'm asleep.